Hey everyone, my name is Josh and welcome back to your fourth stimulus check and news update. In today's video, we have a lot of news to get into, but first, if you would like to receive 2 free stocks from Webull valued all the way up to $2,300, make sure to claim them by clicking my link, which you will find in the description box below. Okay, so yesterday, President Biden held meetings with both the moderate Democrats in the Senate, Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema. Being that both of these senators have stated publicly that they don't wish to spend an additional $3.5 trillion in the reconciliation bill, it was Biden's hopes to convince them otherwise. Even though nothing was resolved in the meetings, it's been noted that they should continue to have ongoing discussions, although it's hard seeing either party being completely convinced. Regardless, these are only the start of the negotiations, and if I were to guess, something will eventually get done. According to reports, President Biden has a pretty close relationship with Manchin already after their years in the Senate together, and really, both of these senators want the president to be successful. While they are all on the same team, both senators also realize that in order to keep their jobs, they need to cut out some of the spending. Now, if they were senators in a deep blue state like California or New York, where this bill would be widely popular, it would be much easier to go along with it as is. However, with Sinema being in a purple state in Arizona and Manchin being in a red state in West Virginia, they'll need to be much more careful about how much spending they approve. So, in the end, it's my guess they'll end up finding some type of middle point between 1.5 trillion and 3.5 trillion, landing somewhere in the $2 trillion range. Getting Manchin and Sinema on board with the bill will be absolutely crucial, as Biden won't have a single Republican approve the bill. Here is Ohio Senator Rob Portman warning of massive tax increases in the bill and why he believes Americans shouldn't be in favor of it.
I'm here on the floor of the Senate today to talk about our economy, talk about the new massive tax hikes that Democrats in the House of Representatives have now proposed to pay for the $3.5 trillion spending spree that is called reconciliation. I want to talk about why it's bad for American workers, why it's bad for our economy, bad for small businesses, bad for American families. They call it the Build Back Better plan, but it's really tearing down what helped us to be better, what helped to make us a more fair economy, an opportunity economy, by getting rid of the positive aspects of the 2017 tax reform and tax cut legislation, and instead putting in place massive new tax increases. By the way, these tax increases go even beyond eliminating the tax relief that was provided in 2017. In many cases, it provides additional tax increases, even higher than we had before 2017. We had an historically strong economy leading up to COVID-19, in large measure because of this 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, which focused on expanding opportunities for businesses to grow, for families to take home more of their hard-earned cash, and for the United States as a country to be able to compete globally. It made us more competitive. As a result, before COVID-19, we saw record growth in jobs and wages. In February of 2020, as we were getting into the COVID-19 pandemic, we had 19 straight months of job growth and wage growth of over 3% annualized. For 19 straight months, we'd seen wages go up every single month. We had wages above inflation for the first time really in a decade and a half in my home state of Ohio. This benefit in wages went mostly to lower income workers and middle income workers, exactly what you would want. This follows a study by the Nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office, or CBO, that found that 70% of corporate tax cuts end up going into workers' wages. 70% goes into workers' wages and benefits. So it all made sense. As we made America more competitive, as we made our businesses more competitive, small businesses and large businesses, what we saw was wages going up. And wages going up for everybody, but again, the highest percentage increases were actually among those who were at the lower end of the income scale, or middle income workers. During that time period, just before COVID-19 hit, we also tied the 50-year low in unemployment. We had 3.5% unemployment. We had historic lows in unemployment, by the way, the lowest ever for certain groups in our economy, including black workers, Hispanic workers. We had in 2019 a median income for U.S. households that had the largest inflation-adjusted gain going back to at least 1967. So you had to go back to the 1960s to find incomes rising that much. And before the pandemic, we had the lowest poverty rate ever recorded. So for 60 years, we've been recording the poverty rate in this country. It was the lowest it had ever been going into the pandemic. That's good news. We should be celebrating that. And again, what Democrats are now talking about doing is going back and changing the very law by increasing taxes in a massive way that created so much of that opportunity. The massive tax hike being pushed by President Biden and congressional Democrats would be the largest tax increase since 1968. This includes increases in estate taxes. Now, this is a problem because if you're a business and you want to pass along your business to the next generation, you got to be sure the estate tax isn't so high that the government, in effect, has a confiscatory rate where you have to sell the business in order to pay the taxes. Capital gains taxes go up. This is taxes going up on investment. We want to encourage capital gains because that's assets you hold for a while. We want to encourage more investment in this country. That creates jobs, makes us more productive. It increases taxes on retirement accounts. It increases income taxes. It increases small business taxes. So if you're a small business owner in America, watch out. It increases corporate taxes. We talked about how we lowered corporate taxes to make them more competitive, and the result was they created not just more jobs, but higher paying jobs, and they brought money back from overseas. And the list keeps going from there. American workers and families will find themselves losing more of their hard-earned cash from all sides.
Okay, so also yesterday, the third round of child tax credit payments started to go out. Those of you with direct deposit should have received the payments by the end of the day yesterday, and if you're expecting a check to arrive in the mail, those should arrive at some point next week. After these payments, Americans should expect 3 more rounds of payments for October, November, and December. Then next year, when you file your tax returns, you can claim the other half of your tax credit. For those of you currently enjoying these child tax credit payments, you're probably also enjoying the fact that they may end up being extended through the year of 2025 in the reconciliation bill. Of course, even though Joe Manchin supports them somewhat, there are some changes he would like to make. For example, one requirement Manchin wants to have is to ensure that people who receive this credit also have a job and earn income. Manchin believes that people should have to work and file taxes in order to receive these monthly payments. He believes in order to receive a tax credit, people should have tax liabilities. Other Democrats, especially the progressive ones led by Bernie Sanders, are opposed to this idea. In their mind, everyone should receive the credit as long as they're under the income threshold. One House Democrat even said that by adding a work requirement or other stipulation to the child tax credit, they would only be hurting middle-class families. So not only are progressive Democrats unwilling to move this credit, but they're also not willing to place any stipulations on who receives the credit either. So should be real interesting to see what Manchin's next move is, considering neither side seems to be backing down. One other piece of legislation that some progressive Democrats wanted to be in the $3.5 trillion reconciliation bill was the Supplemental Security Income Restoration Act. Being that right now, the maximum monthly benefit for those receiving SSI benefits is only $794 per individual, they hope to bring that figure up to 100% of the federal poverty level. This would be a 31% increase to the benefits, where they would then like to index them according to inflation. The bill also calls for increasing the amount of assets people on SSI can have from the $2,000 per individual it's currently at, up to $10,000. Furthermore, the bill would also change the income rules, where currently for every $2 someone earns over $65, they lose $1 of their benefits. In the update, they would allow for individuals to earn up to $399 per month through work and taken up to $123 per month through other government benefits without having their SSI checks reduced. Of course, even though all this would greatly help those currently receiving SSI benefits, it was not included in the $3.5 trillion reconciliation bill. Although it wasn't included in the reconciliation plan, there is still a chance it passes the normal way as its own bill. So we'll just have to wait and see how everything pans out. But on that note, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. Again, if you would like to receive a couple of free stocks from Webull, make sure to quickly claim them by clicking my link, which you will find in the description box below. To receive the first free stock, you will need to fully open an account. Then to receive the second free stock, which will be valued up to $2,000, you'll need to make a qualifying deposit of at least $5. And even if you aren't all that interested in investing or continuing to invest at this point in time, you can always sell the free stocks you receive and transfer that money, however much they're worth, right back to your bank account. So free stocks or free money is completely up to you. So once again, I hope everyone has a great and safe rest of their day, and I'll see you in the next video.